Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my subscribers on YouTube, peeps on Facebook, everybody at House of Nerdum, and all the NFL fans around the world. Are you ready for a brand new day? Woo, baby, I feel good today. It's week 8. Week 7 is in the books. And before we get to week number 8, and where I make my predictions and probably shock the world for some reason, it's time to head back in time to week number 7. So here we go. By the way, week 7, just give you a heads up, I went 10-5, so I did pretty damn well. On Thursday, the Patriots survive a scare and get by the New York Jets 27-25 in what was a great Thursday night game. By the way, the Jets become the first team in NFL history to control time of possession, offensive yards, 0 turnovers, and still end up fucking losing the game. Moving on to the Sunday games, the Dallas Cowboys extend their winning streak to 6-1, 6 wins in a row over the New York Giants 31-21. The Baltimore Ravens annihilated the Dirty Birds of the South, the Falcons, 29-7. Atlanta looks like a joke. Moving on, Colt McCoy steps in at quarterback in halftime and leads the Redskins to a win, 19-17. Colt McCoy will most likely be starting this week for the Redskins unless RG3 is 100%. Then we head to St. Louis for one of the two big upsets of Week 7, and probably the biggest one. The St. Louis Rams defeat the Super Bowl champion Seahawks 28-26. We'll be getting back to Seattle in a little bit. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars get the first win of the year as the Cleveland Browns decide to just sit on the toilet and die. Jaguars win 24-6. In Indianapolis, the Bengals, who have been a falling train wreck of a team the last few weeks, lose to the Colts 27-0. Bengals decided to stay home. Over in Buffalo, we saw a last-second touchdown give the Bills a win 17-16. A few weeks ago, I said Kyle Orton was not a smart decision to start for the Bills, but hey, you know what? They're proving me wrong because he's getting them wins. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Speaking of wins, the Miami Dolphins going to Chicago and just bitch slap Jay Cutler and the Bears. We'll be getting back to the Bears in a little bit. Moving on, we head to Detroit where it looked like the Saints were finally going to win one on the road. And then they choked and the Lions win 24-23. The Saints defense is playing like crap. And oh yeah, Drew Brees is taking blame for the loss. I don't think he should, but hey, it is what it is. Then you head to Green Bay, and well, the Packers pretty much shipped the Panthers off to Week 8 with a loss, 38-17. Kansas City Chiefs get the surprising win over San Diego, 23-20. Thanks to a last-second field goal by Kansas City. The Cardinals would destroy the Raiders 24-13, and not really destroying its 11-point win, but Raiders showing they have heart, but Cardinals showed that they got the better D. Broncos, Manning sets the touchdown record for a career, and the 49ers pretty much get raped. 42-17, and then of course last night, Texans, which started out great in the first quarter, died in the second quarter, and that pretty much ended it as the Texans lost 23-30 over the Steelers, which all I gotta say is wow. Wow, Texans, you choked big time on that one, in my humble opinion. Alright, moving on to some of the news and my awards for this week. Percy Harvin is now a Jet. I don't like that Seattle did this. I think it's gonna, apparently as we saw, it hurt them. They were, as one of them said, they were still emotional, some of the players were emotionally upset. Yeah, at the same time, all we heard was fucking goddamn, you know, all the we've been hearing this locker room drama since Harvin's left. You know, man up and stop being a pussy. Alright, moving on. Chicago. Alright, apparently there was a fight in the damn locker room. Kyle Long, the son of Howie Long, wants to blame is mad at the fans for booing. Guess what, Mr. Long? The Bears, if the fans buy a ticket to see you at home and you're getting your ass kicked, yeah, they have a right to boo. Period on that. So, yeah, deal with it. By the way, like I just said, Colt McCoy is most likely going to be starting this week on Monday night, unless RG3 is 100%. I don't think he's going to be. I think they're going to give him one more week, which may be the best for business. Yes, I just quoted WWE. Sue me. For the season, by the way, I'm 67 in wins, 37 in losses, and 1 tie. Now my awards for this week. Well, of course, biggest upset victories go. There's 2 winners this week. Both go to the Rams and the Jaguars. Rams, of course, defeating the Super Bowl champions. Jaguars getting the first win of the NFL season. So congratulations to both on that. Now it's time for most disappointing team of the week. And I really had a lot of great choices here. Could go to Seattle, but I'm going to give them one more I'm going to give them a break on this one because the offense played well. I'm going to go to 2 teams in particular, the Atlanta Falcons and the Cleveland Browns. Atlanta, you could at least attempted to show up and you didn't. You died. Baltimore raped you. As far as for Cleveland, you know, we all bought, a lot of us bought into the Cleveland hype. They were going to be 4-2. Oh, look at their schedule, man. They got to shut up being 6-2, a playoff contender, and then they fucking choke against Jacksonville. That's pretty much the best way to say it. Of course, Cincinnati Bengals also would get third place in most team of the week. Of course, best comeback one has to go. You could go with either the Lions or the Bills. I'm going with the Bills on this one because it looked like all hope was lost, and then Buffalo wins. And congratulations to Buffalo. And of course, congratulations to Peyton Manning for breaking the record. And also, congratulations to DeMarco Murray for also breaking the record as well, for getting now 7 games with at least 100 or more rushing yards. So congratulations to all that, and congratulations to the Chiefs running back as well. Mr. Charles, as he broke the franchise rushing record there. So congratulations to all of them this week. Now heading into week 8, here's how the standings look. Excuse me, wanted to take a drinky drink. The Dallas Cowboys are in control of the NFC East as they are 6-1. Remember, the Eagles had a bye this week. Giants are 3-4. Redskins are 2-5. Both of the Giants and Redskins are on life support right now. Both of them need to start winning games and hoping Dallas and Philly dies. NFC North, Detroit and Green Bay are pretty much in a battle for it as both of them are 5-2. Chicago still hanging in there, but they need some help. And Minnesota is at this point just hoping to God they can at least somewhat get to 8 or 7 wins. And probably in the worst division this year, the NFC South, everybody's still in it. Hell, even Tampa Bay, who's 1-5, is still in it because nobody wants to win this division. Carolina's 3-1. New Orleans is 2-4. Atlanta's 2-5. Like I said, Tampa's 1-5. If Tampa Bay comes back and wins this division, what's that going to say for the other 3 teams when Tampa Bay is 1-5? Let that sit in there for a minute. Okay, if Tampa Bay somehow does win this division at the starting 1-5, that'd be the most hilarious fucking thing in the NFL history, and everybody would be applauding Coach Lovie Smith, naming him Coach of the Year. Hell, I would. And in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals have a good stranglehold of it right now as they are 5-1 with San Francisco behind them at 4-3. Seattle's 3-3 and St. Louis is 2-4. With a win this week, Arizona could very much control their own destiny in the West. Moving on to the AFC, the Patriots are 5-2, but they got the Buffalo Bills right on their heels at 4-3. Miami right behind them at 3-3, and the Jets, well, excuse me, I'm gonna say this: it could be the Jets. Could be getting the 2nd or 3rd draft pick. Moving on to the AFC North, Baltimore controls its own destiny right now as it stands at 5-2 with Cincinnati right behind them with 3-2-1. Pittsburgh 4-3 and Cleveland at 3-3. This division's not over, but with a win this week, Baltimore can tighten their grip but control their own destiny as well. Over in the AFC South, the Indianapolis Colts also control their own destiny as they are 5-2 and have a very good lead over the Houston Texans, who are at 3-4, followed by the Tennessee Titans at 2-5 and the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-6. And in the AFC West, well, it's between right now Denver and San Diego. Both teams have 5 wins. San Diego's got 2 losses, though. Denver has 1. And Kansas City keeping in it, staying alive. They are 3-3. Oakland's at 0-6, folks. What can I fucking say? They suck. Alright, now heading on to Week 8, and honestly enough, by the way, just in case if anybody needs to know, the 2 teams with a bye this week are the New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers. So in better words, Mr. David Paul Goodrich, you do not need to worry about watching any football this week. Your Niners have a bye, so you'll probably be watching golf on the Golf Channel. And I don't know any Giants fans, so yeah. If you have them on your fantasy leagues, remember to bench them and put in the backups for this week. Because if you don't, you're going to lose. And now we start with the picks, and we start with Thursday night. It would be the San Diego Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos here. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think this will be the 3rd week in a row we get a good Thursday night football game. Both teams playing very well. A lot of people making the case for Philip Rivers to be MVP, and I can agree with that. You got Peyton Manning there, who's in MVP talks right now. To me, this comes down to defense, and that's why I'm taking the Denver Broncos on this one. Their defense has played better than San Diego's defense at times this year. Both teams are pretty much even though in every other category. I mean, Philip Rivers has more yards than Manning, but Manning only has 2 more touchdowns than Rivers. So it's going to be interesting. Keep an eye on the running game and the defense. That will decide the winner here. By the way, you can watch that one on CBS. By the way, Denver has not lost at home this year, so keep that in mind as well. Moving on. Before I continue with this, I must make a public apology to the people of London, because you get the Detroit Lions versus the Atlanta Falcons here. Now, I would have said a few months ago that this looks like a good game for London. Unfortunately, the Falcons have decided to choke this season and apparently decided not to show up. They got Matty Ice, who, again, is having a second bad year in a row, which is very unfortunate. I'm taking the Lions in this one. Best defense in the NFL. The offense is clicking. They may have Megatron Johnson. They may have Megatron back for this game. So if that does happen, that's just going to hurt the Falcons even more. And a team which the Falcons defense is very bad. Just look what Baltimore did to them last week. Moving on, we have the... Okay, now this is where we start seeing games that become a bitch to predict, because both teams are really good, like the Chargers and Broncos, or B, both teams absolutely positively suck. Sorry, Paul, it's true. The Minnesota Vikings suck ass. So does Tampa Bay. And you know what? I had a hard time picking this game because both teams suck. I can't find a good thing about them. And that's me being honest, folks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Both teams suck. So I pretty much only went with Tampa Bay. They at least get the first home win of the year. It's a coin flip on who wants it more. Which team doesn't suck this week? I'm going with Tampa. I don't feel confident in it. Granted, if I would have picked the Vikings, I would have not felt confident in that either. So choose who you want. Just know you're probably not going to feel confident about it. Moving on, we head to New York City, where the Buffalo Bills take on the Jets. I'm taking the Bills. I'm sorry, I don't care if the Jets just got Percy Harvey. The Jets still suck. I feel sorry for Mike Greenberg. The Jets suck. He's going to have to eat crow because he had the Jets in the playoffs. Well, that ain't going to happen. Bills win this one. Moving on. Bears at the Patriots. Now, the only reason that this game could be interesting, and by the way, I'm taking the Patriots on this one. The team's just been clicking as of late, way better than the fucking Bears have. Jay Cutler has played great on the road. They have played shit at home, but the Bears know it have been a pretty damn good team, being 3-1 on the road. To me, the Bears need this game. If they lose this game, they are in deep trouble, because they'd be 3-5. You got the Packers and Lions. Oh boy. Particularly this. If the Bears lose and the Packers and Lions win, the Bears may be in trouble. Just may be in trouble. I'm taking the Patriots on this one. I just trust them more this week. Another tough game to predict. It will be the Seattle Seahawks on the road again, going to North Carolina to take on the North Carolina Panthers. Now, both teams offensively have played great. Excluding last week for Carolina, whose offense pretty much died in Green Bay. But other than that, both teams' offense have been playing pretty good. The only reason Seattle stayed in the game as much as they did against the Rams this past week. So this comes down to defense, and I'm going to put my faith in Seattle this week. I'm taking Seattle. I don't feel confident with this pick, though, because they lost to the Rams last week. And as a matter of fact, when Dallas beat them as well, and I'm happy the Cowboys won, but if you take a look at the Seattle schedule this year, last year I think they only let one team get over 28 points. But listen to this. Green Bay, they win 36-16. San Diego, they lose 30-21. Denver, they only won because it was overtime, 26-20. Redskins, okay, they destroyed, but then you got beat by Dallas at home. You got beat by the Rams because they tricked you on special teams. Now you play Carolina. The only good thing is for Seattle is in week 9 you play Oakland. But I'm saying this right now. If Seattle drops to 3-4, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of people going nuts. As far as for me at this point, I still think Seattle can make the playoffs. I just don't think they're going to repeat at this point just because they don't look that good of a team. I'm sorry, that's the truth on that. If you don't like it, Seattle, sorry, deal with it. Moving on. Dolphins at Jaguars. Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins on this one. Jaguars, no, congratulations on getting your first win this week. Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. Sorry, better team. Also, in a game that's pretty much easy for me to pick, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens when they travel to Cincinnati. Ravens, better team overall. Moving on. Hey, look, another game that's pretty much just like the last two I just talked about. I'm taking the Texans over the Titans. Texans have a better defense, and granted, they did not show up against Pittsburgh during that game. But I'm taking the Texans on this one. I don't trust the Titans, by the way. I'm pissed off at you, Cincinnati, because I have Andy Dalton on my fantasy team on one of them, thinking he was going to be great. Unfortunately, the Bengals have been choking. I mean, come on, you didn't score any fucking points against the Colts. That's why you suck right now. Jaguars, I'm being nice to you this week. The Chiefs take on the Rams. It is in Kansas City. I'm sure my good old buddy, Mr. Captain Ron, is going to be watching this game very closely. I'm taking the Chiefs on this one. I think Kansas City Chiefs, granted, Rams and shock everybody. I think that they're not going to go back-to-back. I think Kansas City stops them after the Chiefs did just get a big win. Well, at least not in score-wise anyway, they didn't get a big one, but they got a big win against the Chargers. Now, those are all the early games. In my humble opinion, the best games in the early games would be the Seahawks and Panthers and the Ravens and Bengals because it's a rivalry game. Alright, heading on to the late games now. Eagles at Cardinals. This, to me, is going to be the best game of the week of Sunday. So, sorry, if you think it's Packers and Saints, wrong. If you think it's Colts and Steelers, wrong. If you think it's Ravens and Bengals, wrong. It's this one. Both teams are hot right now. Both teams are 5-1. Both teams have a great offensive game plan. Both teams have a great defensive game plan. Both teams are pretty good at running the ball. So the question's going to be, who do you take? This is probably the hardest pick of the week simply because both teams are that damn good. You saw me already say that it was hard to pick the Vikings and Tampa Bay because they suck. This is the opposite. This is a game that either team you pick, You know in the back of your head they could still lose this game because the other team is just as good. I'm taking Arizona at home. The Cardinals needed to see this game as an opportunity to me. Because the Cardinals, if they win this, they will have a stranglehold on their conference. In their division, they will have a stranglehold on it since the Niners have a bye this week and the Seahawks are not doing too well. They could be 6-1. Same with the Eagles. Eagles trying to keep pace up with the Cowboys right now. I'm taking the Cardinals on this one. Would I be surprised if the Cardinals lose because of how good Eagles are? No. Would I be surprised if the Cardinals win? No, because both teams are that good. This is a pick where you know, like I just said, you're going to be confident, but you know in the back of your head they could still lose. Moving on to Pittsburgh, it will be the Colts taking on the Steelers. I'm taking the Colts on this one. Did anybody not see what happened with the Colts and Bengals this week? Colts destroyed them. Colts have a great offense, and I have more faith in Andrew Luck than I do in Big Ben. Trust me, like I've said, Andrew Luck is my quarterback from that class of that year. Granted, Wilson won the Super Bowl before all of them, but I would take Andrew Luck any day of the week over half the quarterbacks in the NFL. Hell, I would take Andrew Luck over my quarterback for my team, alright? Moving on to Cleveland. Yeah, it's the Raiders of the Browns. Cleveland, you got fooled last week by the Jaguars. Jaguars made you look like a bunch of clowns. Make you look like a bunch of fools. And of course in Madden, as you can see, yeah, I made Cleveland look like a joke too. But that's not going to happen in the real world. I think Cleveland bounces back and beats the Oakland Raiders. I do not think Oakland will get the first win in this game. On Sunday night, it would be the Green Bay Packers traveling to New Orleans, Louisiana, as they take on the Saints. I'm taking on the Packers on this one. The Saints' defense has looked terrible. Terrible. I'm taking the Packers. You know I love my boy Drew Brees and I love Aaron Rodgers, but since Aaron Rodgers has said relax, Packers have been on a running streak. Taking Green Bay on the road. Finally, the Monday night game, it is the Cowboys at home taking on the Redskins. I'm taking my Cowboys, but no, this is a trap game 101, folks. Trap game 101 right here. Dallas, do not get overconfident. You are 6-1, but remember, trap games mean these are games you could lose because you're so favored to win. It's not fucking funny. I'm taking Dallas. Redskins going to most likely be starting the third string quarterback unless RG3 is at 100%. Redskins are also a little bit beat up offensively and defensively. So, just as a recap, I have Broncos, Lions, Buccaneers, Bills, Patriots, Seahawks, Dolphins, the Ravens, the Texans, Chiefs, the Cardinals, baby. Who would have thought I would be hyping up the Cardinals? Colts, the Browns, the Packers, and my Cowboys. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with my predictions this week? And until then, enjoy the World Series. Enjoy Hell in a Cell this Sunday night. And I will see you next week for Week 9. Woo!